Considering the shootouts we've had the past couple years, we were hoping to get the same thing in Evanston this time around. The Red Devils hosted number 3 Gillette. First quarter, the home team wearing the red, and they would make the first mistake. Matt Johnson thinks he has a man downfield, but he's going to underthrow him, and instead he'll find Danny Fisher, who plays for the other team, and the Camels would set up shop in enemy territory at the 38-yard line. About 3 plays later, they'd cash in. Good penetration by the defensive line, but Austin Ford is able to dump the ball over the middle to Taylor Bigelow. No one was covering him, and he'll scamper down the near sideline for a 31-yard touchdown play. PAT is good, and the Camels are on the board first, leading 7-0. Now how about some defense? The Red Devils were looking to cross midfield, but that's not going to happen. Stephen Alm's going to bust through, and he's going to make a sack lunch out of Johnson. That took care of that problem for a while, and it's a good way to start the season. On the next possession, more defense. This time Johnson was in the gun, but that did not do him any good. The Camels would get to him quickly, and then Carson Mock would finish the job this time, all the way back to the 10-yard line, and Evanston would have to punt the ball away. But on their next possession, the home team finally got things going. Wyatt Day's going right up the gut, and he's got some daylight. This play turned into a 54-yard pickup from the 39 all the way to the Gillette 7-yard line before he got tackled out of bounds. That was the play they needed to spark the offense. Now they just have to finish the job. Kyler Wagstaff is now under center, and he's going to take care of things himself, sneaking his way across the goal line from 7 yards away, and this game is tied up at 7 points apiece after the first 12 minutes. Second quarter, the visitors would respond. Here's Bigelow again, finding a hole on the left side and going through it. He had 150 yards plus on the game, and here's 40 of them right here from his own 33 to the Evanston 27, and his team was in pretty good shape and were threatening again. A few plays later, they take to the air. Ford is just a junior, and he had a pretty good game. Over the middle to Fisher, and he's in for a 21-yard score, throwing the extra point, and the Camels retake the lead 14-7. The Red Devils will then try to turn up the heat. Wagstaff playing it dangerously by going over the middle, but he was counting on Johnson to be there, and he was. Look at him fight for the extra yardage. He got about 15 more yards after the initial hit. A 49-yard pickup to the Gillette 8-yard line, but the drive would stall, and the home team had to settle for a field goal, so they're down 14-10. Moving ahead, the visitors would get a good punt return all the way to the Evanston 13, and when you have that good field position, you better score. They fooled the camera, and Jason Cortez would punch in from 8 yards away, and the Camels would take a 21-10 advantage going into halftime. Now, I know the Devil went down to Georgia because he was looking for a soul to steal, but I guess he liked the cheerleaders in Evanston instead. Third quarter, not much happening on offense for either side, so the defense would own the quarter. Zach Tulzian would break that play up before it got a chance to get going, and there was nothing doing that time around. On the next play, this is probably one that Wagstaff wanted to have back. Thrown into double coverage, and Fisher would step in front of that pass to make the interception. There were a number of times when the Camels would start their drives on the other side of the 50, which is usually a good thing if that ever happens. They were knocking on the door again, but this time the wrong person answered. Ford gets picked off by Day, and that'll snuff out that scoring threat. His teammates could not do anything with the turnover, but at least they were able to stop the scoring threat for the time being. Here comes some more defense. Wagstaff is rolling out, and he's got a good look at one receiver downfield. However, Cole Petty had a pretty good look at that pass as well, and he'll step in for an INT of his own. Not much happened scoring-wise, so it was still a 21-10 contest going into the final 12 minutes. Fourth quarter, the visitors got down to business. Here's Bigelow again, busting his way through 3 defenders for a 2-yard score, and that would push the score up to 28-10. Here was Evanston's problem, starting field position. Most of the time they started deep in their own territory, and this time it came back to bite them. That bad snap resulted in a safety, and it could have been much worse. Visitors now lead 30-10, and Gillette was not done. Petty is now taking the snaps. He's behind there somewhere, and he's pulling off a few moves and dragging a few guys with him. All of that for 8 yards, but it resulted in 7 points for his team, and now the scoreboard reads 37-10. The fire was still burning for Evanston, but time was against them. They score once to make it 37-17. Then on the first play after a fumble recovery, they take to the air. Wagstaff was looking for Johnson the entire time, and he hits the bullseye for a 25-yard score, but that was all the offense that the Red Devils could muster. Like I said, bad starting field position played a factor as Gillette would pick up a 37-24 road win.